Thanks for tuning in to the Trap House Podcast. Now, a quick word about our sponsors. We have Duke Traps. Check out duketraps.com. Duke manufactures over 40 different models of cage traps, coil spring traps, long spring traps, and body grip style traps. Also, my personal favorite, they have the Duke dog proofs. They come powder coated, perfect on the line. Check out duketraps.com and you won't be disappointed. We have J3 Outdoors, maker of the Hags Bracket, all American made products. Check out their website, j3o.com, and you will not be disappointed. They have everything from your bait holders, your spring clips, your tail hooks, the universal locks, the list goes on. Especially if you're a water trapper, you want to check this website out. That's j3o.com. We also have Top Lot Stretcher Company with us. Check out their website at toplotstretcherco.com. Top Lot Stretcher Company handles all your wooden stretcher needs, along with pelt handling supplies and trapping supplies. Check out their website at toplotstretcherco.com. And representing all the girls in the trapping world, we have Trapping Girl Inc. with us. Check out their website, trappinggirlinc.com. They have awesome apparel for the females. There's also kids apparel, lures and baits, things you could use out in the field. Check out their website, trappinggirlinc.com. And there's only one true way to start out the trap line in the morning, and that's with a nice hot cup of coffee from traplinecoffee.com. Check out their numerous collections. They have Trapline Blend, a Kodiak Blend, and my favorite, a Cherry Red Blend, all available at traplinecoffee.com. Also, be sure to check out Weeby Knives. That's weebyknives.com. They have skinning knives, fleshing knives, all your fur handling tools. Check out weebyknives.com. Need a place to sell your fur? Check out Groenewald Fur and Wool Company. They're the largest and most experienced direct receiver of wild fur with over 50 plus years of experience. Their website is gfwco.com. And last but not least, Hoosier Trapper Supply. Check out our website, HoosierTrapperSupply.com, home of the Top Dog Predator Bait and Jet Fuel Predator Lure. We got all your trapping needs, trapping scents and baits, deer scent, and apparel. Check out HoosierTrapperSupply.com. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Trap House Podcast. We got a true mountain man with us today.
We do.
We're not talking about you, Charlie.
No, I'm not in the I'm not in the club.
Yeah. Paul Antczak's with us. Thank you for being on and spending time with us here.
Oh, you bet. I appreciate it, man. Any opportunity, I thank you.
Yeah. So if you would, just kind of start at the beginning, where you're from, how you got into trapping, take us on the journey to how you ended up on the hit TV show Mountain Men on the History Channel. It's got to be a ride.
It's been a real long ride. Yeah. I started trapping back in 1977. I was just a young guy, and started trapping. What got me into trapping was like in the third grade, I think it was, in Wisconsin. We studied the Mountain Men era, and the fur trade and all of that stuff. And so that's what really kind of got me excited about it. I didn't know that, you could sell fur and all that, back then. And, I didn't know what was going on. And so, I got a hold of some traps. I didn't have a father or nothing like that. So I kind of just went off and did my thing with it. And I was trapping like rabbits, and I know it was illegal but I was trapping groundhogs and stuff like that in Wisconsin. That's a big no-no. But I was like 10, 11 years old, and my neighbor, Mr. Wilsinski, he came up to me and he says, "Why are you trapping them, rabbits and such?" He goes, "Why don't you trap some muskrats?" He goes, and I'm like, "Oh, why would I trap a muskrat?" And he says, "Well, you sell the fur." I said, "Man, they're still doing that? I thought that stopped like 100 years ago, And he says, yeah, they're still doing that." So he took a look at my traps, and of course the stuff that I had was the wrong stuff. So he gave me the right equipment and showed me, what to look for on a ditch that he used to trap. And so I went down there and he goes, "When you catch that first muskrat," he said, "bring it to me." He goes, "And I'll show you how to skin it." Well, he worked at the aluminum plant, and I couldn't wait for Mr. Wilsinski to be home, so I went and skinned it, and I skinned it up the belly, and then I brought it to him, and he's like, man, you didn't listen to me, son. He goes, I'll throw that thing away. He goes, it's no good. And he goes, and go catch another muskrat. And so went down, I caught another muskrat, and then he showed me how. And so that year I caught 7 muskrats and a coon. And my fur check was $34.50. And I sold to Grunwald. They were at a bar in Waukesha, Wisconsin, down in the basement, and they're buying furs. I'll never forget it. There's this big old burly trapper, probably with a big, if I remember correctly, with a big beard and all that. And he had a pile of red fox and pile of coon. And I thought I stepped back in time. I was just hooked instantly, and all the smells and everything. This is all new to me, and I remember putting my muskrats up on the table, and the fur buyer gave me some tips, as far as handling rats, and then he looked at the coon, and I remember skinning that coon. It was frozen, and oh my God, skinning a frozen coon, that's pretty tough. But so he looked at the coon. He's like, man, that's a really good coon. He goes, I'll give you $20 for it, and I just, my jaw just dropped, and so I was pretty excited to walk out of there with my first fur check, and it was all over from there. I was done, finished, So in a nutshell, that's how I got started. And then, gosh, from there we moved to northern Wisconsin, and then I trapped up there, and that's where I started catching my first fox and my first like otter and beavers and stuff like that, and then from there I moved when I was 26. I moved down to Tennessee, and there was not many muskrats like I was used to, in northern Wisconsin, and so I had to learn how to trap coyotes. And so I started caught my first coyote in a snare in a fence crossing. And I had a guy come and show me some stuff with foot holding coyotes, with dirt holes and stuff like that. I tried to catch a coyote. I remember when I was young up in northern Wisconsin, pretty crude, man. I I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I had nobody to mentor me or nobody to show me how, but I think I nailed it was a deer hide, and nailed deer hide to the side of the tree, and then put some foothold traps underneath it. And I just couldn't. And then I think a coyote came by, and then they just walked right by it, I'm like, wow, these things are super smart, but anyways, I'm back down in Tennessee, then I had to learn how to trap coyotes, and just kind of took off from there, and then started a business in back up 2004. I started longlining, going to like Illinois, Arkansas. I've been to Ohio. I've been to 9 states total, and worked a lot of you guys got a lot of flies by your place right now? I got flies like everywhere.
Not real bad.
Oh, they're horrible this year, and stink bugs.
Oh, stink bugs. Yeah, we got those. They're everywhere.
Invaded by them. But so then I started doing log line in about 2004, and would work the bounties for beaver and such. And then 2008, when the economy crashed, I started a business of all times, but I started a business called Predators of Prey Wildlife Control, and that was in the Smoky Mountains, where I lived. I lived over there in Wears Valley, and it really took off, actually. I was giving I was getting a lot of jobs because I was giving good, honest, wildlife advice. There was a lot of franchise companies out there that were just, kind of taking people to the cleaners, and I charged it per squirrel, and a lot of those, what were they? Let me back up here. I'm going way too fast here. The cabin rental company, that's what it is. Yeah. The cabin rental companies. I remember I was meeting with them, and she's like, so you get charged, you pay you get paid per squirrel? I said, yeah, per squirrel. I said, I want to get paid for my success, and so they liked that because they had a lot of times where they were paying for jobs that just weren't done correctly, and they still had the problem. So my business really took off up there in the Smokies, and then I started doing contract work down in Alabama and all of that. Some in Ohio for predator management and stuff, and then what year was it? 2014, I think it was. 2014, went through a real horrible divorce, and I almost stopped trapping. My wind was kind of taken out of my sail, and I almost stopped trapping, and I was really getting kind of tired of catching coyotes and then only being able to skin half of them, because the fur just wasn't good, or they're rubbed up or off color, or red coyotes and all these weird colors that just really weren't sellable on the fur market. And so I started almost not trap anymore. I was ready to almost stop. And then my son and we took a trip out to Montana and to go visit my sister and stuff. And I'm like, I looked at my boy. I said, this is the United States. We can live wherever we want. I said, we don't have to live in East Tennessee. I said, we can move, and so we ended up just picking up and heading out here, and it was probably the best thing I ever did was move out to Montana, and now I got a whole new critter to chase, and and better fur, and my coyotes are marketable, and yeah, life's good. So in a nutshell.
What part of Montana?
I'm up in northwest Montana. Right now, when I first moved up here, I was just west of Kalispell and lived off grid. And so I sold during, I think it was 2021. I sold my off grid property, made a bunch of money, and became debt free, and ended up buying some property. I really don't even have an address. I live pretty far out in the bush. I'm surviving on Starlink Wi-Fi, which is awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't even have an address. So I'm 13 sections north of Happy's in Montana, right off of Highway 2 there. So yeah, kind of northeast of Libby.
Okay. All right. So,
I-
so that you're the first, I think, person that I've talked to that doesn't have an address, Paul. So that's kind of cool.
I like it that way. I'm starting to run into some problems though, because they want me to do jury duty and all of that, and it's just not going to work out, and just I got to go to town. It's about an hour's drive to get my mail and such. But yeah, I closed my gate, and kind of nobody knows that I'm back here. It's nice.
Yeah.
They said if I do get an address, my mailbox will be 20 miles one way. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So what do you normally target on your trap line these days?
A little bit of everything. Of course, the focus is always on wolves. You know what I mean? That's an animal we kind of follow, throughout the whole year. I'm saying it's always the focus is on wolves. But I'm trapping past few winters. I'm really liking, trapping rats, through the ice and stuff like that. Everything is really kind of like right now, I'm getting geared up to go coyote trapping. So I'll coyote trap for about 3 weeks. And then my water trapping will last about a week, because then it ices up really quick here. I'm at 4,000 feet, and it'll ice up real quick, and then I'm just done. And then this year I get to start wolves earlier, which is nice. They changed the grizzly bear map, and everything revolves around the grizzly bear. And so it'd be the first Monday after Thanksgiving. So November 27th, I get to go ahead and start trapping wolves in my spot, in my areas. 20 miles to the east, they got to wait for the grizzly bears to go to sleep. and it's called a floating start date. So,
So
it gets really
that-
complicated.
That's specifically just to avoid catching a grizzly.
Yeah, to avoid catching a grizzly. Now they finally kind of listened to some of us, and I'm in an area where there's no grizzly bears. I don't have any. I go to the east a little bit on part of my trap line, and then I got a pretty good size boar over there, grizzly that comes through. But otherwise, like right here, we just don't have the grizzly bears,
Mhm.
So, and what would suck is catching that cub, it's dangerous for everybody,
Yeah.
I sure in the heck don't want to catch it, you know what I mean? And then come flying up on my four-wheeler, it doesn't matter if I'm on a four-wheeler or walking or whatever, that mama bear is going to jump my ass,
Yeah.
So, it's a different world out here trapping, yeah.
So and I know it's a learning process, and you never get done learning, but so how long did it kind of take for that, from moving from Eastern Tennessee to Montana, for that to kind of start clicking into place? And
yeah, the coyotes were the big one. Wolves, I'll never figure wolves out. Yeah, but the coyotes, I was a 100 coyote a year guy, and I was pretty cocky, and I moved out here, and I thought it was just going to be a piece of cake, and the coyotes are different out here. First of all, they're back east. I was used to a 3-4 day cycle, where they're cycling back through, and here it could be 2.5 weeks before the coyotes cycle through. And when the coyote does cycle through, if there's wolves in the area, if there is a mountain lion in the area, they're going to go ahead and completely bypass that spot. So then you got to wait another 2.5 weeks for them to come back through.
Okay.
My first time I trapped here, I think I had 56 sets out or something like that. And I was all pretty cocky, and it was October, and it was even during, pre-dispersal, and the pups were still intact in the family units. And I set out, and, the first check, nothing. Second check, nothing. We check every 48 hours. By the third check, I had a skunk, and I went a week and a half, and then I had to pull my traps and head back to Tennessee. I didn't catch one coyote, none, and I went home scratching my head, thinking, what did I do wrong? And I didn't even have a visit. I mean, it's just so different out here. And it goes different too from, let's say, where I'm at in the timber. I'm in the big timber country, to, let's say, the Eastern Front, or going south down towards like Hot Springs, where it's a lot of good sage country. And, I know a trapper down there he's gonna blow out 120 coyotes this year. And that's just 40 miles, 50 miles from where I'm at.
Mhm.
A good season for me up here is going to be 40 to 50 coyotes, and that's it.
Mhm.
And that's busting my butt,
Is
so.
Is that because they don't have a food source, or is it because of the wolves, or is it just combination of everything? Or
It's a combination of everything, but one thing that I've noticed is because of the heavy timber, these coyotes have cover. Yeah, so they can travel wherever they want. So like in the open country, you're going to hit like the coulees, and you're going to hit, brush rows and stuff like that, where the coyotes are running. Here, the coyotes are running just like anywhere, so you can set up a spot. It's taken me years to find good coyote locations. I've been here, 7 years now. I'm finally got spots now where I just know I'm just going to go there and set up. My anchors are still there. But it took me, 3 or 4 years, I guess, to go ahead and get some of those spots,
Mhm.
Where I know they're going to continue come through all the time. I don't know if that makes sense,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
But there's food everywhere. That's another problem. We got mice, we got our gophers are already hibernating, but there's gophers, chipmunks, there's squirrels, there's rabbits. There's food everywhere for these coyotes. And so it's not just like they're going to go to one spot to go ahead and eat. You know what I mean? There's food everywhere. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Humbling. It's really humbling, Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the likelihood then of catching wolves in your coyote sets or having wolf problems with your coyote sets?
Highly likely. What I got to do is, in fact, I was just talking to the ranch today. Look at this fly right here. I was just talking to the ranch today, and she's like, "Are you going to set that up in the back there?" I said, "No, I don't want to set that up in the back because I'm going to go ahead and hook in the wolves." So I really got to watch where I'm setting up, and you'll still hook into some. I got some spots where I know if I go ahead and set it up, give me a couple weeks and I'll have a wolf caught in a coyote trap. So yeah, there's a lot of things you got to do and consider before you start setting a coyote line out.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here in the East, we have, we just don't have that. So
Right.
and as you know, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with everything, I'm even like the lions, you catch a lion, it just ruins your day. It ruins the whole set area too, and then of course, you catch black bears and all of that. You just got to release them, I got that new release pole now, comes from out of Idaho. And it was funny. I got it last winter at the Idaho auction, and from that point on, I didn't catch a lion. So I didn't get a chance to even to use it yet. So
is that the one that pushes the levers down?
Yeah.
So you don't have to, and you don't put any type of restraint on the animal itself. It's just strictly working off the trap.
Correct.
Okay.
That kind of scares me though. A little bit. A bear is going to take off. But a lion, they're just like releasing bobcats. They kind of sit there in that one spot there for a little bit. And I've had them. I got some pictures where I've had them. They're ready to freaking pounce on me.
Yeah.
But so, anyways, we'll see. We'll see when it happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully it goes smoothly.
No, it's a pain in the ass.
So do you have Fisher and Martin too in your area, or is that something that?
No, our fisher population is really low, and I think it is because of the lions. If you really think about it, it's the lion is about the only animal that would really kill a fisher, that or a cat, bobcat. The pine marten population is low because the habitat. It's they do a lot of logging here. They like that old growth timber.
Okay.
So, but yeah. Now I guess we're starting to get some fishers up in the Cabinet Mountains. Get them back. But I don't foresee us getting a season in a long time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. What's really coming? Gosh dang flies. What's really coming back is the Wolverines. I started seeing them on my line last year. I know two guys one guy had a double in wolf traps, and another guy caught another Wolverine to the west of me here. So they're coming back pretty strong. In fact, I'm hoping to see a season come back, with them. So that'd be pretty cool.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
When was the last time Montana had a season on Wolverines? Do you know?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. I don't think I was here. So maybe 10 years, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's definitely a bucket list animal for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Me too, man. Yeah, me too. I was talking with Fish and Game and about getting, the season, and he says, well, he goes, it's just not our Wolverines, it's also Idaho's, and Wyoming's, and so Wolverines travel so much, we share them, so yeah.
Interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
So you basically go to coyotes and then you go straight to wolf trapping then?
Coyotes, a little water trapping, and then wolf trapping. And of course, wolf trapping can be a little mundane, and just kind of boring, believe it or not. You're just riding the snowmobile a lot, until you get a catch, And so what I've been doing with my wolf trapping is also running some cat sets, and then like trapping muskrats through the ice and beaver through the ice just to break up the monotony of it, So, and I'm actually having more fun with that.
Okay.
Than the wolf trapping. The wolf trapping's great now that it's awesome, but it just gets a little boring until you make a catch, Yeah.
I mean, just because there's such a long period between catches and you got to run so much ground.
Yeah, yeah, we got to check regardless. Even if you got a kind of a pattern on them, where they're not going to come back through for 3 weeks, or whatever. You still got to check them every 48.
Okay.
Which kind of sucks, but is what it is. Yeah. So you gotta. It's the wolf trapping is it's a mental game. It's mental, but money. It takes a lot of money to wolf trap, but it's more mental than anything. These guys that are, and I did it a couple of years ago. I was doing my YouTube, and I was putting, almost a video out every day on my YouTube about the trials and errors of wolf trapping. You know what I mean? And so guys are getting on there, and they're like, so you're just setting traps. You're not catching it. You ain't caught a wolf yet. You know what I mean? Or it's been a month since you caught a wolf. This is the reality of wolf trapping. You know what I mean? It's not like back east where you're catching something every day, and so it wears on a guy's mind because you want to be successful, and a lot of guys, they give up because they're just tired of failing. I mean, as soon as you pull them traps, then the wolves come back to you. I got so many stories of that. One particular one last year. I went to the Idaho fur auction, and I took my son around and showed him the line, and I forgot to show him two sets. My crap! And I could have sent him a pin, but these traps are on drags and all of that, and I figured, well, I'll just go ahead and pull them, and then when I come back, I'll reset them. 2-year info sets. So I get back. He caught a wolf while I was gone, which was awesome. And I caught a wolf, I guess, while I was gone. And so I get back. I go to set them. Throw the traps back in the sled. I go back to set them back up, and the wolves came in, pissed all over everything. I would have had 2 more wolves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As soon as you pull that trap, they're going to come through. Here's another one. Okay. Filming for the Mountain Men show. All right. These wolves, they tear my head up. So we're filming for the Mountain Men show. I got 2 cameramen, an assistant camera, and the producer, and we're doing a dirt hole set. And so we get done, and then I put my foot in the trap and I throw it in the sled, and she looks at me. She goes, my producer, she goes, "You're not going to leave it set?" I said, "No, nothing's going to come here." I said, "Cameraman A over there is sitting on the ground filming me at a cool angle." I said, "This cameraman over here is chewing tobacco, spitting all over the place. The AC is running back and forth to the snowmobiles." I said, "You smell pretty." I said, "There's no way I'm going to go ahead and catch a wolf here, It was a week and a half later, I drove by on my snow machine, and there was wolf tracks all over that spot. You know what I mean? So you can say all day long, hey, do this, don't do that. When it comes to wolves, man, it's different every single time, and it just wears you out. So yeah.
Can we make the assumption then that the human scent dissipated enough, or that didn't concern them, or
I don't think it concerned them.
Yeah.
Well, the only when I see concern with wolves, like real concern with human scent, is when there's a single or a pair. And that was a group. That was 8 different wolves actually. And that were around that set.
Okay.
Because another set was disturbed where I pulled the trap out another spot and all that. When they're in singles and pairs, that's when there's a little bit more caution. When there's, think of it like a gang, a gang of inner city gang. And one gang member is all by himself. He's going to watch what he does. He's going to be really cautious on everything he does. You get 10, 15 of them, and then the mouths start going, and, and they kind of throw caution to the wind,
A little more bold,
because they got backup kind of, I see that with wolves a lot, so.
Yeah. What's the politics of wolves in Montana right now? Have you still got certain segment of society that's against killing them? I mean, have you got that at bay? I know you guys went through the referendum a few years ago on trapping on public, and that came out fine for trappers, but
yeah, you hear about the wolf wars out west here. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's all politics, man. we'll have to fight it all the time. In fact, they did it last year. I can't remember, I might be explaining this wrong, but there was a lawsuit, bam, and then the judge shut down wolf trapping, and and the whole deal, and then that went through, then it opened back up. And I expect the same thing again next year, this coming year too. It'll never end. It'll never end.
Yeah.
So we got it's hard to explain. We can trap 10 wolves and we can shoot 10 wolves, okay, with a gun. So you can't trap 20 wolves, you know what I mean, or you can't shoot 20 wolves. It's 10 trapping, 10 hunting.
Okay.
I'd like to see it where it's just 20 wolves. Right. Either way, I mean, I even told him, I said, I'll pay for them. I'll pay for my tags. When you're trapping wolves in Montana, you get 10 free tags with your trapping license. If you're hunting, you got to buy those tags at I don't know. I ain't bought a wolf tag yet this year, but I'll find out here soon because I got to buy them next week. So I told him, I said, I would pay $20 a piece for my wolf tag if I could use it for hunting or trapping, and I'll buy all 20. I'll drop $400 for my tags right now. All 20 of them, if we can use them with trapping or hunting.
Right.
So, but they won't do that. So it's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating.
And it doesn't really make sense. I mean, in the scheme of things. So
when it comes to wolves, the common sense goes out the window.
And I'm assuming, Paul, that realistically it probably wouldn't affect the harvest that much in the scheme of things.
No.
I mean, it's kind of like back east here. I mean, you could kill 20 deer legally or whatever it is, but most people will never do that. 2 or 3. So.
Right. What affects our harvest is weather. If we now, I'm going to be starting on the 27th of November, and if I don't, and usually the big dumps of snow happen from about December 15th on. I did see it one year where it was pretty dry towards the end of December. If that happens this year, look for a big wolf harvest. It'll be a really big wolf harvest. Excuse me. That's because we're working in the dirt,
Okay.
And what happens with those big dumps of snow like that is the wolves change pattern. They really, really change pattern when all that snow is coming in. We get a lot of snow in like a 2-week period.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens and it'll get down pretty cold too. We got good trap in the snow, but what happens in January is it'll get up to like the 50s, and I've seen it 55 degrees and raining on top of 3 feet of snow. And then drop down cold again, and so it's like a big sheet of concrete through the whole, through the woods. And now the wolves, they can go wherever they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be narrowed down to, let's say, your snowmobile track, for easy travel, so that's when it gets really, really hard. Catching wolves is when that snow is so hard crusty, they walk across the top. It's tough.
So is that you still foot trapping then? Are you snaring or both?
Foot trapping.
Still foot trapping. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you snare any wolves then?
Yeah, I snared one last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't use it. Probably, I would say about 5% of my rigs are snares. The rest is footholds. Yeah. Very seldom do I snare. The situation's got to be absolutely right. Because, your snare loops are 18 inches off the ground. It's perfect height for a white-tailed deer, perfect height for a mountain lion, perfect height for a black bear if they're still awake, or a young grizzly, and of course we got breakaways and everything. That was another argument of mine with the state, was we need to separate. What happened was they gave us snaring. Okay, I'm going to try to explain this. They gave us snaring a couple of years ago. They said, man, we're just going to give these trappers something. We're going to give them wolf snares. They opened up wolf snaring. Well, as soon as they opened up wolf snaring, it went from the grizzly bear recovery zone to the grizzly bear occupy zone. So they gave us something, but then they changed the wording to be able to take something away. And so with the grizzly bear occupy zone, then they're like, oh, we can't trap there until the grizzly bears are asleep. So now we're going to have a floating start date. So with the snare came the floating start date. So my argument at the commission meeting a couple of years ago was, why in the heck did you guys put the snare in under the same category as the foothold trap? It's two different tools, and I mean, Canada knows that. I think Idaho knows that too. What happens is the deer. Okay, we wanted to get it open like right around December 1st, first Monday after Thanksgiving. And so at that time, you got your second rut. The deer aren't herded up yet, okay, or yarded up yet. And so with hanging snares, you're going to go ahead and start cabling deer, which is the last thing we want to do. I mean, we're out there trying to save the deer. So if they would go ahead and separate, and it's all with the wording, you know how it is with wording and all,
Right.
they just, to change a word, they got to have to pass legislation and all that other stuff. It takes 5 years to do it. I mean, that kind of crap. So if they would change the wording and give us, start the wolf foothold trapping like Canada does, they start October 15th, foothold trapping, like not even 100 miles from me. Actually, I think it's going across there. Yeah, it's 42 miles going across the Canadian line. Okay, Dave Warner up there is going to start. He's a good friend of mine. He's going to start wolf trapping with footholds October 15th. Same grizzly bears as what are coming in here. Okay, the snaring don't open up until December. Okay, after the grizzly bears are asleep, and then after the deer are herded up. I think it's end of December they start or something like that. They separated the footholds and then the snares because it's two different tools.
Right.
And so the commission listened to me out, and they're like, "Oh, that's a great idea, great idea." Never happened. It's still the same. So I don't think they want to make it better. You know what I mean? I don't understand it. So, and of course, I'm a trapper. I'm not a biologist. I'm a trapper. I don't know.
So, how did you end up getting the phone call to be on the show, the Mountain Man?
Oh, that's a good story. Yeah, I was actually running a wolf line. I was up towards the Ashley Divide, and I pinged a signal. I think I was shooting a YouTube or something like that, and I pulled my phone out of my jacket, and I looked, and it said Tom Orr on there, a missed call. And I'm like, oh wow, I've never talked to Tom before, and so anyways, I get down to the cabin and I give him a call, and he needed some wolf snares, and we actually talked about it in the first episode. And so I talked to him. I said, well, Tom, I said, I got this little YouTube, and he didn't even know what YouTube was. And I said, can we do a video, and I said, I'll give you the wolf snares, and he goes, well, I just need like 3. I said, no, you need like 12.5. I said, and I'll give you the stabilizers and the supports and all of that, and he says, well, let me talk to the producer, and so he called the producer up, and David's like, no, and that's what I figured, and so I said, Tom, I said, tell you what, I said, meet me for lunch. I said, I just want to meet you. I said, when I was back in Tennessee, my son and I would watch the show and be like, dream of moving to Montana, and we knew it'd be close to where he was at and such, and I'm like, yeah, I just want to meet you. I just want to shake your hand, take you out for lunch, and give you some snares. So we sat down at Antlers restaurant in Libby, and it was kind of neat because all these people are coming up wanting pictures with him. We're trying to have our lunch and everything, and he's such a humble man, just a kind soul. And I started showing him videos, of my trap lines and stuff like that, and then it was funny. He would always go back to show me more videos, and I wanted to talk about him and his rodeo days and get more, hear more stories from that. And he'd be like, let me see some more videos, and so it was about 2.5 hour lunch, and he's like, he goes, Marty retired. I'm like, yeah, I know Marty retired. He goes, I kind of wanted to retire. He says, he goes, but he goes, I can't leave the show without them having a trapper on the show. And he goes, would you take my spot? I looked at him, I said, what? And I said, I can't take your spot. You know what I mean? I can't do what you do, there's no way, And he's like, well, he goes, he goes, I think you do good on there, and and I said, well, I said, if you think I would do good, I said, I'll give it a shot. What the heck? I only known him for 2.5 hours, and before I go any further, he's not retiring, just so you know. So, but he's still doing a few shows. So anyways, I got a phone call from he goes, when I get home, he goes, I'll make a call to David, which is Warm Springs production out of Missoula down there. And so David called me up, we talked on the phone, and then he's like, well, let's do a Zoom, So I had to go to the bar and get good signal service and all of that, and use the bar's laptop and do a Zoom and everything. And so we did a Zoom, and that turned out good. And he called me back in a couple of days. He says, hey, he goes, where you at with your trapping right now? And I said, well, we got about a week and a half of wolf trapping left. And he goes, hey, we want to come and shoot a audition reel with you. I'm like, oh, really? And I said, when do you want to do that? He goes, like in a couple of days. And I'm like, oh, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, the main producer, she goes, she wants to see you in your element. I said, all right, well, let's do it. I said, the snow's melting. I said, it's a muddy mess, and I said, but I got some rigs out, and we'll go run traps and do a thing. And so they got up there, and that night it like snowed 6 inches, and it just made it beautiful out. It was gorgeous. And so we got on the snowmobiles and stuff like that, and shot. It was that's when I really kind of learned how it worked. It was 2.5 days of filming. I had cameraman, guy that films with like Marty and stuff like that, and it was like 2.5 days of filming, drones and GoPros and all these different scenes and all of that. And it got like 5 minutes of clip. I got it in my phone. I got the video on my phone, and man, they made me look like a freaking rock star, and it was a lot of fun. But and so yeah, and so then I didn't get it right away, what I mean? Oh no, then they called me up. They said, hey, we're going to add 2 more episodes to season 11. Would you want to be on, the last 2 episodes? I'm like, heck yeah, of course, and so then that fell through. And then there was some other changes and character changes and all that, and I almost didn't get on the show. And they had to convince the History Channel that, hey, you really want this guy Paul. He's more. They're like, well, he's just a wolf trapper. No, he does more than that. So yeah, they're not regretting it now. So yeah.
What's that mean? He's just a wolf trapper. It's not like you guys were
Yeah.
about.
There's so many of them out over here.
I know it. Well, they were afraid that's all I could do is just catch wolves, but
Yeah.
they had to explain that I did more than that, so, but
That's a great
yeah.
story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited. And then we incorporated that in the first episode, which is cool. I called up David. I said, hey, I said, I want to, I want Tom to introduce me as a character into the show. And David's like, why do you want to do that? And I'm like, well, I said, Tom can't really do no wrong. I said, he's got a huge fan base, and I said, and that it'll help me if I'm good with Tom, everybody should be good with me, I said, because people get really critical, and he's like, oh, that's a great idea. And he says, he goes, it's funny you say that. He goes, they want that too. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, because Tom is the one that discovered you, and all that. So yeah, that's how we did the first episode. It was kind of cool.
That is cool.
So, yeah.
So
I'm glad
go ahead.
I'm glad I was found organically, is what they call it, instead of like YouTube or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. And honestly, guys, I'm doing the show for 2 different things. Two main things. One is number one is to promote trapping. I mean, that's my character. I'm a fur trapper, not just predator management, because there's a lot of that out there, and I mean, but fur trapping. We got to get fur trapping back being a subject again. It's
Right.
not a bad thing. You know what I mean? And so that's I want to, of course, make trappers, and then, put trapping in a good light, but also, of course, some of it's for me, you know what I mean? I like living out in the bush. I like, I live off of solar and generator, and my nearest neighbor is 8 miles. I can't do that if I have to go and lay brick. You know what I mean? And I'm getting too old to lay brick and lay stone. My body's not able to do that anymore. So with the show, because it pays well, I'm able to live the lifestyle of living out in the bush like I do. If I didn't have the show, I couldn't do it.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'd have to be closer to town. So yeah.
Yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand,
Yeah,
because the stuff they need to be showing on the show, this supports that.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I was just going to kind of back up a minute. So Paul helped with the Trappers College this year for the first time, and that's where I met Paul for the first time. He's friends with Doug McKenzie from Tennessee. So you guys have been friends for a long time. And Doug asked you to come out and help him with his class. So just to kind of give everybody a little bit of context here. But Tom Orr actually came to a fur taker convention. It was when it was in Wisconsin last time, and I can't remember the year. It wasn't that super long ago, but he was invited out as a guest, and I remember him just being a very quiet, like you said, humble person, and just talk to anybody, take the time to talk to anybody. He and his wife both, and I remember at the fur taker at the banquet, he and Gary Jepson kind of comparing notes and that kind of thing. So it was kind of cool. So
yeah. You go to their house, and I've sat at that table many times that you see on the show, and it's almost like, how can I explain it? Time stands still. You know what I mean? But then it's like before it's 2 or 3 hours of conversation. You know what I mean? And there's everything from politics to life to trapping to, and you're like, oh my God, you look at your watch, like, I gotta go, Tom. You know what I mean? And he's the same way, so yeah, they're just amazing people, and they watch the show. They got I think Dish Network, you know what I mean? And so he watches the show, and I talk to him about once a week or so, once every 2 weeks. And he'll call me up and congratulate me on a good episode, or or whatever. It's cool. Yeah.
So we're partially Amish. I don't have satellite at home, so I'm actually if I'm in a hotel, I'll catch up on the show, or whatever. So and I don't have the history app on where I'm streaming it from my phone. So how many episodes, Paul, do you have out so far this season that have been seen?
Yeah, let me think. It's my first one, the Badger, my deer hunt, 4. Yeah, 4. Tomorrow night will be the 5th one.
Okay.
Yeah. Tomorrow night I'm gonna be I'll be up on the Ashley Divide going after Martin.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So are you able to stream it through your Starlink?
Actually I got Dish Network.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got Dish Network. Yeah.
Okay.
So
you aren't that far out in the middle of nowhere. A satellite can reach
satellite. It's satellite. Yeah. It would probably, to get power right here, would probably cost me $500,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah. I do have in fact, it might come by right now. I got a train that comes through right maybe, I don't know, 100 yards off of my south line of my property.
Okay.
So it's fixing to come through. Yeah. And it's the train that goes from Kalispell over to the West Coast. So yeah.
So you have a little connection with civilization.
Yeah. What's funny is I know one of the engineers, and so when he comes by the house, it doesn't matter what time, it's in the middle of the night or whatever, he'll do like extra honks because there's a crossing down there. Then I know it's him. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wave as he goes by.
So is your son?
That's right. That's his wave.
Is your son still with you out there?
Yeah, but he lives on another ranch. He lives
Okay.
over by Marion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Both of you are out there, and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's loving his elk hunting and whitetail hunting,
so
So more. Go ahead.
have you got your hunting out of the way so far, or are you still hunting for the fall?
No, I ain't even started yet. I'm not a bow hunter. Last year my son talked me into go ahead and getting a bow and all of that. And so I spent about $1,000, on bow and then Sitka gear and all the stuff. And I was shooting with good groups and everything. Everything was nice and great. My shoulders were holding up well and got in a stand, it's coming to prime time and I hear like shit. Blew at me right away. Hold on a second. Let me let this dog out. So it blew at me right away. And then get out there the next night, different stand. Go get him. And get up there and blowing at, doe's blowing at me. I'm like, oh my God. So after the fourth night of that crap, I'm done. I am absolutely. I spent $1,000 to get bitched at. You know what I mean? So, my son's got my bow right now, and I'll just go ahead. We can only kill one deer, so whether it's a mule deer or a whitetail, So I'm gonna go ahead and save my tag for a nice buck this year. So last year I had to shoot one on the show, and we watched that at the college that episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
And so that was a tough hunt, So this year I get to actually go hunting. So
okay,
good.
Well, you had a lot of distraction while you're hunting. So yeah, with the cameraman and
oh my God, that's a whole nother episode in itself. We could talk about. Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot. Actually, filming these episodes, it's a lot of fun, man. These people become like family, Man, I just love them dearly,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I thought it was funny that EJ Kelly, who lives in northwestern Wyoming, when we were sitting around watching the episode at the Trappers College, he would not watch it. He wanted to sit out on the porch and whatever, because I guess he and his wife watch it, or girlfriend watch it together, so he didn't want to spoil it for himself. So
yes. Well, you know what's funny? He called me. I think it was last week or the week before, and he just got done. Well, him and his wife or his girlfriend or his wife or whatever. They watched all the episodes, together or whatever. And he called me congratulating me, and that was so nice to get that phone call, from a respected trapper, say, hey, you're doing a great job, promoting trapping and all that, and I appreciate you and stuff like that. I really enjoy those phone calls or those messages like that,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's so important that we get this exposure and it's positive exposure and good representation. You're a good representative of it. So yeah, it's very important. And I can't tell you how many times people come into our shop or place an order or whatever, and they'll make a note, that they've watched the Mountain Men show or a show like that, even a YouTube show about trapping, and how that sparked their interest because they never really had it before, maybe they've done a little bit of hunting, but they, and that gave them the bug or the interest to take it on.
Right. Oops. What did I do? Did I hit something? Okay, there it is.
There you go.
Get this out of my way. There it is.
Yeah, you're back. You're good.
I had a message late time. So yeah, no, I get the same thing with my YouTube, Montana Wolf Trapper.
Yeah.
I've had 5 or 6 guys call me up and say, hey, or send me a text, hey, I caught my first wolf because of you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And holy cow, does that feel good? You know what I mean? To be able to do that, So yeah, we're reaching them,
Right.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
So does Montana have I'm not sure exactly how that works. In Idaho, they got this bounty system for wolves where they're paying.
Don't call it a bounty. Don't call it a bounty.
What's the proper term? What's the proper
The
term?
proper term is a reimbursement.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. The animal activists and all the AR groups, they want to call, yeah, fly. They want to call it a bounty. You know what I mean? Because then that just puts it in a whole different category of bounty or whatever. You know,
Okay.
and it's a reimbursement. I got to save all my receipts. You know, and I do not get my reimbursement check unless I have receipts to prove it.
Okay.
You know, heck, I'm stacking up receipts right now just for fuel, you know, running cameras and draw stations and such, you know. So it's really easy to go ahead and stack up, buy a four-wheeler, you know, anything, underwear, long underwear. It doesn't matter what it is, you know, anything that gets you out in the woods to go wolf trapping, you know, or wolf hunting, you know. Even a guy, let's say you wanted to come out here and kill your first wolf. You wanted to do go calling or go with an outfitter to go wolf hunting or something like that. Join the Foundation for Wildlife Management. It's like $40 a year. Save your plane tickets, your receipts, all of that stuff. Kill a wolf in region 1 where I'm at, and you'll get a check for $1,000.
Okay.
It'll pay for your trip if you
Yeah.
kill.
Yeah.
You know, so, or part of your trip, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So you know, but it's not that easy. You know what I mean? I wish it was that easy.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not. So
Do you, in Montana, do you have to take a class first like they do in Idaho?
yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We gotta it's more ethics than anything, you know.
Right.
Which is really important. But I mean, we're using big traps, really big rigs, you know. So yeah.
Right. What's your trap of choice?
I like the Kendall No BS Wolf Extreme. That's probably my favorite. Yeah, it's a good trap.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about coyote trapping?
Coyote trapping, I'm liking the I just went through a whole bunch of traps. I had to go through everything again this year. And the ones that had the least problems was my Bridger number 3 modifieds.
Okay.
And I do everything the same. You know, I mean, same antifreeze system and the whole deal on all my traps. And the ones that had the least problem was those traps.
Yeah.
So.
So how'd you feel about East Tennessee coyote versus a Montana coyote?
Oh God.
It's not even the same animal.
They're a completely different animal.
Yeah.
And you know, and guys can say, "Oh, BS on that, BS," but it's true. It's a completely different animal. I was trapping Tennessee when we actually had some of those narrow, you know, the snouts on those coyotes, eastern coyotes, are getting wider and wider and wider. If you haven't noticed, the yellow in the eyes are going away. They're getting to be more brown-eyed dogs, you know. So when I was trapping back there, I seen that transition. I can look back on some of my pictures, and then the coyotes here, they're a purebred. You know what I'm saying? These are pure coyotes, you know, and they act completely different out here. So they're not. I remember a few years back I said the wrong thing and I hurt somebody's feelings on Facebook and something about how smart these coyotes are or something like that and blah blah blah. And I think it all started out, I mean, I even boil my cable steaks here, you know. I mean, every precaution I take, you know, with these coyotes. And so this guy says something about, oh, so you're saying our coyotes are dumb? It's like, no, that's not it. These coyotes out here have been shot at. They've been everything's been trying to kill them for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And so that's bred into them coyotes, you know what I'm saying? And it's a year-round thing, you know, these coyotes get killed. You know, the dumb ones don't make it to breed here, you know. And it's just a different coyote. And they're so cautious. These coyotes are so cautious as it makes them appear to be super smart. They're not super smart. They're just super cautious.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. They're super, super cautious.
Yeah.
I mean, where I don't see last year, the caution kind of went down with the coyotes, but I had a huge population. It was like a population boom and a spike last year. And I'm seeing that this year. I'm hoping I get on my other ranches, it's still the same thing. And it's kind of like when you got two different dogs. Okay. Now, for instance, I got two dogs now. Ricochet, I had Ricochet forever. I just got this new pup. Ricochet didn't eat for 3 days. And then all of a sudden I get this new pup. He's 9 months old. He walks in the house. The first thing she did was walked over to that bowl of food that she had sitting there for 3 days and she ate. Okay. And now she's eating every day and she's got weight and all of that. It's competition. And I see the same thing with my coyotes here. When I have a lot of coyotes, I'll go ahead and start running dirt holes and bait. You know what I mean? And it seems like the caution goes down, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you sell your fur out there? You go to take it to the auction or?
Man, the Mountain Man show is great.
I'm sure.
This past year, I kind of knew what was going to happen. And so this past year, I took all of my fur and I sent it to Moyle Mink, and I wish I would have had more. But, I had the big tanning bill, a few $1,000s. And I got hooked up with where Tom sells his stuff at the Willow Bend Trading Post up in the Yak. And I'm all sold out on coyotes. Right at $200 a piece, tanned. My beaver, I started skinning my beaver case method. And that's so I can utilize the belly fur and the back fur. And I'm all sold out on them at $220 a piece. I'm working with I don't know if you heard of Jeff Schlenk over in Cut Bank, Poor Boy Sporting Goods.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, he's a garment maker, and he has the contract with the Alaskan State Troopers, and so he makes, he's making all my garments. And this year I decided to go ahead and target towards women. Their hands are always cold, you know what I mean? So a lot of fur mittens, and those are selling like hotcakes. I just talked to Jeff today, and we're working on a new design with some bobcat belly and stuff like that. And so as soon as I get them in, they go up there to the Yak up there, and they're like literally sold as soon as they hit the Facebook and however they sell them, So yeah, it's become a great little income. Yeah. Goes quick. The only thing it's not selling is my muskrats. So I tanned 85 muskrats this year, and I don't know why I did that, but I got more muskrats than I need. So yeah. But
so Paul, prior to the Mountain Men connection, how did you sell? Well, the coyote market was better prior to that too, though. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was selling. I sold a bunch of fur, of course, up at NAFA, and then they crashed, and then I went to the Idaho sale.
Okay.
That Idaho auction, that first one in January, is an awesome auction. I even encourage guys from back east. They got a strong otter market. Skin your otters with the feet on them, send them to Idaho. They're doing $80, $85, per otter. It's just a great market, So when, back east, I've heard of the Tennessee sale where they're still getting, $15, $20 on your otters. You can send them to Idaho, and, they'll go ahead and market them for you. So, yeah. And it's a Native American market, so.
Oh, that's a good tip. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's worth watching the show, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, I lost my train of thought. So, I guess never mind.
Right.
Yeah, he got excited about the otters.
About the otters. Yeah, he's already out there otter trapping.
Yeah. I know what I was going to ask you. Going back to the wolves, does the state have a type of quota or anything, or do they just reevaluate every year? Or
yeah, they took away. I can't remember what our quota was at. They dropped it. It was at 195 for. I think it was 195 for Region 1. I'm in Region 1. Region 1 is the size of Yellowstone, approximately. We have 5 to 6 times the amount of wolves that Yellowstone has. We're sitting at 500 wolves, approximately, according to their IPOM method of counting, and 80 packs. Okay, so we were at 100. Our quota was at 195, and sure, we never even got close to it yet. I mean, mostly because the rules are set up for us to fail. you
Right.
know, that's a whole nother episode. But so this past year they went and dropped us down. They wanted to drop us down to 120 wolves. They're going to take 75 wolves away from us. You know, we all kind of panicked, you know what I mean? And then we had a meeting at the FWP about it, and they just stood up and they did their whole spiel on why they wanted to go ahead and take away that many wolves. And I listened to it. And the main thing I heard was lawsuit. And the whole reason why they did that is because they're afraid they're going to get sued. You know what I mean? So it really kind of frustrates me that that they just won't stand up for what needs to be done, which is good, solid predator management. You know what I mean? And the commission ended up giving us back. Gosh, these flies. When I get off this phone, I'm going to go on a fly killing spree, you guys. But anyways, so the commission met and they gave us 11 more wolves, I think it was, for Region 1. And of course, they took wolves away statewide, you know. And what's nice about what the commission did is they said if it's, let's say, getting into January and more wolves. So, which is cool because usually they're going the opposite way.
Yeah.
You know, that gives me a little bit of faith, you know.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm set up on a new ranch right now. Where I'm at, my old trap line. This would be like the furthest north I would go, you know, because it's just so far out. And then I'd trap a little bit up here, then I'd turn around and head back south, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But now with me living up here, now I can go south, and then I can even go further north into my backyard's 450,000 acres of the Kootenai National Forest.
Okay.
So there's no telling how many wolf packs are up in there, you know. But so now I can go north. But I'm hoping that, you know, with the snow, it was starting on the 27th of November. I'm hoping to kind of tag out pretty quick, you know, is what my plan is. But that could change, you know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a good season. It really is. It's going to be a really good season. So.
Well, this has been great.
Yeah, it's been a good.
Thanks for filling us in on everything.
A good conversation. So, do you got any last minute things you want to mention, Paul?
Kind of hit me on the spot. Let me think about it, because yeah, trappers, especially in the wolf trapping. Let me talk a little bit about this. And I mentioned earlier that I have sometimes more fun muskrat trapping than I do wolf trapping. I remember trapping coyotes back east and running coyotes, and then being on Facebook and all of that stuff, and there was a lot of egos with coyote trapping and all that. If you think there was a lot of egos with coyote trapping, you should see the egos with wolf trapping.
Yeah, I imagine
it's kind of disgusting, you know what I mean? And now people ask me what my numbers are, and now I say more than most, less than some. I don't give numbers anymore. I wish guys would just look at the big picture and just start helping these other new wolf trappers out. I mean, I got a guy now that I'm working with. He's 30 some years old, and I'm going to show him, I want to give him 15 different sets before he starts wolf trapping, that where he can go and troubleshoot and, get out in the woods. But there's just so many egos out there, and guys won't, I don't know. It's kind of it's a different community.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I just wish that the egos would stop, what I mean? And, and everybody just, go back to what it always should be. It's trapping,
Right.
Let's enjoy it. So
Right.
It's changed since I've been a kid, and I blame that all on social media. I really do. It's just different.
Yeah.
Kind of pushes me back further in the woods. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, of course, we see that with deer hunting or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's bass fishing. It's all it's huge. Yeah. So
yeah, it's almost I don't want to say it's disgusting, but it's I don't know. It hurts my feelings seeing it. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
really does, because it's gone away from the natural part of it, and it's taken the excitement out. Um, I'm not gonna post much on. I'm back on Facebook. My media guy said I need to get back on Facebook, and it's helped me out. I'm making money on it and stuff like that. But I really don't want to be there. And I keep getting these requests, to join trapping pages and all of that, and it's too much drama. They just got to start getting along. Guys just got to start getting along, because as they're arguing and fighting amongst each other, the animal activists are planning and
Right.
dropping money and with lobbyists and all kinds of other stuff while we're bickering back and forth. So and if anybody says, oh, Paul, he's a jerk, he didn't join my trapping page, there's a reason. I just don't want to be part of the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's it. So,
Yeah. Well, you should join mine.
no, because then I got to join other ones. So, no, I'm not going to join any of them.
I will say though, the catch circle page that I started, I am proud of it, because I'm with you on that. There's no beating around the bush with it. If people start bickering, I'll just delete the whole post. Who cares? Too bad. It's gone.
Yeah. I started the page, Squarehead Trappers. You see the Squarehead Trappers?
Yeah.
I started that page. Oh God, years ago. Me and a friend of mine in Wisconsin, his name's John Shoddy, and then ended up handing it over. I don't even know who owns it now, but we would keep all the riprap up. It's the same thing as you. There's no sense of fighting and bigger and all of that. And
Right.
what I started seeing before I got off of Facebook a couple years ago was, and really respected trappers, and it really kind of disappointed me, was a lot of bullying, with respected longtime trappers. Somebody would get on there and say, I catch bobcats in these concrete culverts. I remember this one specifically. And so that these longliners were getting on there and just bashing this guy, on how he catches bobcats. You know what I mean? And to me, that's just bullying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let him catch bobcats the way he catches bobcats. So I guarantee you that this guy that was catching bobcats in these culverts that he was dragging all over the damn country is either gotten off of Facebook, won't communicate with anybody, or just stopped trapping, because of the bullying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just disgusted me.
Yeah.
It's horrible. So,
Yeah.
So anyways, the whole part of the trapping is it's being creative, for one thing. To me, trapping is just being creative. You're coming up with a new way to catch that critter or whatever, whether it's right or it's wrong, it's your way,
Yeah.
So,
and if ultimately it works, it works. So
yeah, absolutely. And this whole thing is with numbers, what I mean? If you're not 100 coyote a year guy, ain't nobody, what I mean? Well, I look at the character of a man. In my older age, I look at the character of a man. I don't care how many wolves he's caught. It doesn't matter to me. I mean? Are you a good person? Yeah, we could be friends. Not because you caught so many wolves or so many coyotes, So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So Paul, you got a YouTube page called Montana Trapper.
Montana Wolf Trapper.
Montana Wolf Trapper. I'm sorry. Yeah. And then of course, everybody can watch you on the Mountain Man Show.
Please watch. Yeah. Ratings are important.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. So, and like I said, we appreciate the positive representation of trappers and the exposure to trapping, and you're living the dream that a lot of us want to live. So a lot of us can live vicariously through you, I guess. So
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If you guys ever want to go ahead and check it out, see what it's like, come on up.
Okay.
Yeah, come on up. I got 2 snowmobiles. We can find another one and we'll go run a wolf line or something like that. I'll pick you up at the Kalispell airport and get you out.
It'll be a blast.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Charlie, you better make it happen.
Yeah, we'll figure that out at some point. Yeah. So that would be cool. Of course, that'll be the few days that we're there that no wolves are caught, and then as soon as we leave, they'll kick in. But that's how it is, Yeah.
That's right.
That's
or
trapping.
it'll rain for 3 days.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
We've had those days on the line. We understand.
Oh yeah.
Well, speaking of that, we trapped Tennessee a few years ago. In fact, it was 2020. It was like rain, snow, tornadoes,
There's flooded.
everything was flooded. It was like the worst, I don't know, 5 days that you could have weather-wise. It was in I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It was absolutely miserable. But
Yeah, they get everything there. Oh no, I know exactly what you're talking about. I lived
yeah,
it. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We did pull a bobcat out of that
we
mess.
we did catch a cat, but
I don't know
What
how,
part of
but
Tennessee were you in?
what's that?
What part of Tennessee?
I don't even remember.
it was southeastern, a little bit eastern,
We were about an hour from Florence, Alabama.
north
Oh,
of it.
I
Yep.
know. Yeah, I know the area where you're at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
Because
yeah.
there was, I mean, it was very remote area in the scheme of things being in the east. So we'd have, if you wanted to do like a better meal or something, you had to go to Florence.
Right, right.
Yeah.
45 minutes, an hour.
Yeah, it's
just
45
here.
minutes or an hour away. So yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a no man's land spot in Tennessee. That's like really off the beaten path right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Which was impressive in itself. It was just the weather sucked, you know, but yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, the interstate, there was no easy access to the interstate, and that's probably why it was so
Right.
desolate
Yeah.
for the east anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Right.
So, but
Yeah. Right on.
all right, Paul. Well, we sure appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll be in touch,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
thanks again for being on.